So our topic class or topics is all about implicit differentiation and related rates. So first, as always, we have our learning outcomes. So at the end of the lesson, the learner shall be able to illustrate implicit differentiation, apply the derivatives of the natural logarithm or logarithmic and inverse tangent functions. Number 3, use implicit differentiation to solve problems and solve situational problems involving related rates. Okay, so hopefully at the end of our discussion, ito yung mga matutunan nyo. So let's start with the implicit differentiation. Kasi kailangan natin unahin muna ito kasi magagamit siya dun sa related rates. So sa related rates class, those are worded problems. So application din siya ng differentiation or derivative. Okay, so let's start by introducing these functions. So class, yung mga binigay natin ng mga functions, ganito yung ayos niya lagi, di ba? So naka y is equal to f of x. So ibig sabihin, nasa left side lagi si y. Di ba? And then, yung nasa right side is yung equation or function in terms of x. Diba? So yan lagi yung mga diniderive nyo. And then kapag dinerive yan, that is power rule. For review na rin, so 20x to the 4. And then derivative ng cosine is negative sign. Bakit mayroon 2 dito? Kasi kailangan pang i-derive yung nasa loob ng parenthesis. Derivative nito is 2. Okay? So, this is what we call explicit differentiation class. Ibig sabihin, in terms of y na siya. Naka-isolate na yung y. So yung gagawin mo na lang, i-derive mo yung function in terms of x, yung f of x. So directly, right away, you can derive and get yung derivative which is dy over dx. Diba? Or yung y prime. Ngayon, what if ganito yung equation na i-derive mo, class? So, hindi siya in terms of y. So, dito pumapasok yung implicit differentiation class. Ngayon, there's another way para ma-derive siya using explicit. You can solve for y, di ba? So, transpose and then get the equation for y. So, kung ganun lang, so medyo madali kung gagawin mo yon. Pero what if malaking degree na ito, let's say y to the 5th, or marami pang y yan, mamaya may example. So medyo mahirap na siyang isolve, di ba? Yung i-convert mo pa siya in terms of y. Ngayon, kaya dito pumapasok yung implicit differentiation class. So directly, as it is, dito, pwede mo na siyang ma-derive. Okay? So let's have an example. So ito pa rin yung equation natin, class. So dito specifically, we will find the slope of the tangent line to the circle x squared plus y squared is equal to 5. So this is actually an equation of a circle, class, kapag ganito. So ito yung, kapag ginraph mo siya, so ito yung labas niya. Ngayon, pinapahanap yung slope, class, ng tangent line. Na-discuss na natin yung tangent line. So it is a line wherein tatama siya on a single point. In this case, circle. So ito yung point of tangency niya, class, -2 tsaka 1. So nakagraph na siya. So hinahanap natin dito yung slope nito. And if you remember sa discussion natin, we can get this slope by getting the derivative. Diba? And then substituting yung mga given values for x. Okay? So from here, class, let's do implicit differentiation. So paano siya ginagawa? So i-derive mo siya both side of the equation. So derivative, this is the symbol, di ba? Ibig sabihin, you will be getting derivative of x squared plus y squared. Then equal derivative ng 5. Dito class, wala namang problem. Derivative ng constant is always 0. Ngayon dito, we will distribute. So, di ba kapag nag-derive tayo, each term din i-derive natin. So, derivative ng x squared, derivative ng y squared class. Okay? So now, kapag derivative ng x in terms of x class, as it is nyo siyang gagawin. So using all the rules na nalaman nyo before, so derivative ng x squared is 2x. So walang problem doon kapag in terms of x. Ngayon, kung in terms of y class, i-derive nyo pa rin siya as it is. So iba lang yung variable niya in terms of y. This is 2y. Pero depende sa variable, kung hindi siya x class, in this case y, dadagdagan nyo siya ng dy over dx. So it means kung ano man yung variable dito, ito yung ilalagay nyo sa taas. So kung, let's say, kung z ito, this is dz over dx. Kasi standard lang yung y tsaka x class, di ba? So ito yung kinukuha natin, di ba? Yung dy over dx class. Yung y prime, ito rin yun, di ba? Ito yung kinukuha natin. So kung meron na tayong ganito, lumabas na yung dy over dx, we can just arrange the equation to get dy over dx. Now, we can transpose the 2x, so magiging negative 2x, di ba? And then divided by 2y. So yung labas niya bale is negative 2x over 2y. And then canceling 2. So yung final answer would be negative x over y. Bali ito yung equation or derivative class using implicit differentiation. So dy over dx is equal to negative x over y. Kung mapapansin nyo, meron siyang y. Wala namang problem doon, class. Kasi nga, this is implicit differentiation. So hindi siya nakaayos in terms of y lang or in terms of x. Sorry. So meron lalabas dyan, possible na y. Ngayon, we have values for negative 2. Values for x and y, which are negative 2 at saka 1. So just sub yung mga values na yon. So we have negative 2 at saka 1. So yung slope natin is 2. Diba ganun tayo kumuha ng slope? After we get the derivative, just substitute the values. Before, x lang yung given. Pero since merong y, so we need the value for y. So ito yung sagot natin. Hinahanap lang natin is the slope, di ba? Ngayon, alam niyo na kung paano kunin yung equation. Yung tinuro ko before. Another, example number 2. Ito yung sinasabi ko, class, what if ganito siya kahaba? So, paano mo kukunin yung explicit form niya, di ba? Yung in terms of y. So medyo mahaba yon. So thankfully meron tayong pwedeng gawin, yun nga yung implicit differentiation. So again, so i-derive both sides and then i-derive each term. Okay? So again, in terms of y, as it is lang, i-derive, lalagyan lang, didikitan lang siya ng dy over dx. again class, since y ito, dy yung ilalagay. Kung ibang variable ito, let's say other than y, let's say b, so db. Okay, wala namang problem doon. So ito lang ginagamit nating variable, yung standard, which is y at saka x. Okay, so power rule, 3y squared dy over dx plus 8y, dagdagan lang ng dy over dx plus, in this case class, so 3x squared y siya. Ngayon, dalawang functions ito class, so we will need to apply the product rule. So bali, 3x squared siya multiplied by y. Remember power product rule? So let's start with 3x squared. And then derivative ng y is 1. So multiplied by dy over dx. Diba? Plus, remain si y, and then derivative ng 3x squared is 6x. Take note class, kapag diniderive na yung in terms of x, wala nang ilalagay. Kung maglalagay ka man dyan, that would be dx over dx, diba? And then makakancel naman din siya. The derivative ng constant is 0. Okay? And then rearranging class again. So factor out yung dy over dx. So 3y squared plus 8y plus 3x squared. Ito. Then plus 6xy. Transpose C, 6xy, kaya magiging negative 6xy. And then ibababa ito. So this will be the derivative kumbaga. So meron siyang x and y. So wala namang problem dun class kasi nga hindi siya, yung function natin hindi y is equal to f of x. So meron, yung final answer is mix ng x tsaka y. Okay. So next example. So we have this function x plus y cubed is equal to, so merong e dito, exponential. X, y raised to 4. Again, the same procedure. So derive each term. So derivative ng x is 1. Derivative ng y cubed class is 3y squared. And then, so basta other than x, so lalagyan nyo siya ng ganito. dy over, since y yon, dy over dx. Then derivative nito, ngayon, kapag kinukuha yung derivative ng e class, una nyo gagawin is to copy the function itself. Copy. And then, you will be deriving the exponent. Kaya dito, derivative ng xy to the 4. Okay? So as it is, and then dito, since x multiplied by y raised to the 4th. So product rule again. So bali magiging, so retain muna si x. And then derivative ng y to the 4th is 4y cubed. So inayos na niya. Inuna niya yung x. And then dinerive yung y, di ba? So lagyan ng dy over dx. Plus y to the 4th, so retain si y to the 4th, derivative ng x is 1. Then rearranging again class. So pagsamahin yung meron dy over dx, so ito siya. And then i-transpose yung walang dy over dx. So ibaba ito, this will be the final answer. Okay? So let's apply yung implicit differentiation class to get the derivative of natural logarithm and inverse tangent function. So natural logarithm first. So what if we are to derive this one class? Yung ln ng x. Meron nito sa calculus, di ba? So this is natural logarithm class. Now we can convert this one class into this form. So e raised to y is equal to x. So the same lang ito class. Iba lang yung ayos niya. Kasi inverse ng logarithm yung exponential, di ba? Now, so ito yung gagamitin natin to get the derivative of this one. So applying implicit differentiation class, derive this one and yung sa other side of the equation. Derivative nito is copy and then derivative ng y is 1 multiplied by dy over dx. Derivative ng x class is 1. Okay? So dy over dx, yun yung kukunin natin. Ibaba si e raised to y. So 1 over e raised to y. And then 1 over e raised to y. Ngayon, so e raised to y class is equal to x. Diba? So we can sub yung e raised to y into x. So therefore, dy over dx is equal to 1 over x. So ibig sabihin yung derivative ng ln x class is simply 1 over x. So inverse tangent ng x. So how to get the derivative of this one? So input tayo ng tangent dito. Tangent and then tangent dito. So magiging tangent y is equal to x kasi tangent ng inverse tangent ng x class is kumbaga opposing lang sila. So x yun. Okay? So tinransform lang. Kagaya ng din ito. So iba lang yung ayos niya klasa. So ito yung gagamitin natin to get the derivative of this one. Okay. Derivative ng tangent y and then derivative ng x. So from the derivative of trigo functions class, derivative ng tangent is secant square, di ba? So if you remember or kung memorize nyo, yan, secant square. Y, and then kung y yan, sama ng dy over dx. Then derivative ng x is 1. And then get yung dy over dx. Kasi ito yung kinukuha natin, yung derivative. Then 1 over, kumbaga ibababa yung secant square, y. Okay? Ngayon, gusto natin in terms of x ito. Paano natin magagawa ng in terms of x? So let's go back sa trigo identities class. So we have secant square y minus tangent square y is equal to 1. Take note, this is from your trigo subject, trigo identities. Now, we can get yung secant square y. That would be equal to 1 plus tangent square y. Ngayon, let's go back again. Tangent y is equal to x. So we can sub yung tangent y into x. So kung naka-square yon, that would be 1 plus x squared. Okay? So therefore, since secant square y is equal to 1 plus x squared, so we can sub it here. So ibig sabihin, ito na yung derivative nito. Okay? So we are just deriving class. So the general formula is this one for the derivative of, so the general formula class for ln, so yung na-discuss natin is just x, di ba? Ngayon, derivative ng x is 1. So what if hindi siya x class? Gagawin mo lang is multiply yung derivative ng u. Kung ano man function yun, kung function man lang, any kind of function. Okay? And then kung inverse tangent u, sasamahan mo siya ng i-multiply mo yung derivative ng u class. Okay? Example. So kasi yung kanina, di ba, x ito. So derivative ng x is 1. Let's go back. Derivative ng x is 1. So parang hindi siya halata. Pero what if, ano to class, like 2x squared. So meron pang derivative ng 2x which is 2. So i-multiply mo pa siya doon. Anyway, may example tayo dito. We have this, let's say, ln nito. So from the formula, 1 over u class. So ito yung u, di ba? So from the formula, just follow it. So 1 is constant. 1 over du, which is yung function mo. So copy mo lang yan. So yung ano lang dito is just multiply yung derivative ng denominator. So derivative nito is 14x minus 3. Okay? And then inverse tangent. So from the formula, 1 over 1 plus u squared. So yung u natin is this one. So i-square mo siya. Ngayon, hindi lang x ito. So function siya, 2x minus 3 cosine x. So derivative nito is 2 plus 3 sine x. So bakit plus 3 sine x? Derivative ng cosine class, if you remember, is negative sign. So kung negative yon, negative times negative is positive. And then merong constant ng 3, so plus 3 sine x. Okay, so hindi lang siya na ano dito, simplify. So you can multiply it here. Okay, pero ito na yung kumbaga na-derive na siya. And then yung C class is ln again. So 1 over yung u, kumbaga yung kasama ni ln, 4x plus inverse tangent ln x. And then i-derive yung denominator. So derivative ng 4x is 4 plus, now, so meron additional na inverse tangent dito. So from here, yung formula, that is 1 over, kaya merong 1 over 1 plus yung u niya is ln x square. Ngayon, meron namang i-derive dito which is ln x. And derivative ng ln x is 1 over x class. Okay? Now, so here are the other derivatives. So, hindi na natin siya i-discuss ng isa-isa dito class kasi more of college calculus na ito. So again, na-derive rin itong mga to class just like yung implicit differentiation natin. So just follow the format. Like for example, e raised to u, copy yung e raised to u and then derivative ng u. And then yung b, yung merong constant raised to a function. And okay, and then yung inverse sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, secant. So just follow the format. Again, class, join again for our next session, which is related rates. So you can, meron bang mga examples sa mga questions na inverse? Meron ba kayo na-encounter na ganito na derivative class? I hope wala naman. I mean sa mga question. So you can use this formula. So regarding sa related rates class, so these are actually worded problems. So one of the application din ng differentiation class. So let's have introduction for that. Di ba naturo ko na sa inyo class yung about sa rate of change. So we can apply yung derivative class as a rate of change. So meron siyang, let's say, yung kanina, di ba? dy over dx. So ibig sabihin, we can actually identify yung numerator as a unit and then yung denominator as a unit. So usually yung denominator class is naka dt yan. So in terms of time, let's say sa velocity, so that is meters per second, right? So for example, dx over dt, that is the rate of change of x with respect to t. Ngayon class, kapag positive siya, positive yung rate natin, rate of change, kapag yung x increases with time. Ngayon, negative siya kapag it decreases with time. So may mga example tayo mamaya. Okay? So again, so related rates class involves yung mga na-discuss natin before na dy over dx. Pero in this case class, yung dx natin is usually in terms of time. So dt siya kasi rate of change nga siya. So with respect to time tayo. Okay? So ito class yung suggested na steps. Nababasa ba ng maayos to? Suggested steps on how to solve problems involving related rates class. So isa-isayin natin while discussing an example. So first example natin. So water droplet falls onto a still pond and creates concentric circular ripples that propagate away from the center. Diba kapag let's say, naglagay ka ng bato sa isang water, like kunwari sa batya, so magkakaroon ng mga ripple, circular ripple, di ba? I'm sure alam niyo yung ibig kong sabihin. So concentric, ibig sabihin, so merong, let's say, kung may circle dyan, so meron pang mas malaking circle and then a bigger circle. So concentric. So assuming that the area of a ripple is increasing at the rate of 2 pi square centimeter per second. So ito yung mga problems class involving related rates. So in terms of rate siya. In this case, this is in terms of area over time. Okay? So find the rate at which the radius is increasing at the instant when the radius is 10 centimeter. Okay? So na-discuss natin yung about instantaneous rate of change class, di ba? So at an instant, ano ba yung rate of change? Kaya nga merong binibigay dito na value. So gagamitin natin siya. So we solve this using yung suggested na guidelines kanina. Okay, so first, so allow me to read. Number 1, if possible, provide an illustration for the problem that is valid for any time t. So kung possible siyang illustrate para mas madali siyang isolve, so you may do so. So we're talking about concentric circular ripple. So gawa na lang tayo ng isang circle and then with radius r. Okay? Number 2, identify those quantities that change with respect to time and represent them with variables. So avoid assigning variables to quantities which are constant, that is, which do not change with respect to time. So label them right away with the values provided in the problem. So i-determine mo class yung mga given na rate of change. So first, yung variables muna pala. So identify class yung mga variables. Ngayon, kung merong constant, so you have to write it immediately. So para hindi ka ma-confuse. So in this case, let's identify yung mga variables. We have yung radius r, and then yung area. So we need the area, di ba? So we are talking about the area ng circle and then yung radius. And then we need yung variable t for representation ng time. Okay, so number 3, write down any numerical facts known about the variables. Ngayon, interpret each rate of change as the derivative of a variable with respect to time. Remember that if a quantity decreases over time, then its rate of change is negative. Pero dito class, since sinabi niya increasing siya at the rate of 2 pi square centimeter per second, so positive siya. Okay? Ngayon, paano mo isusulat yung rate of change? So this is in terms of area, so dA over dt since over time. So given sa class, so equal to 2 pi. Okay, and then number 4, identify which rate of change is being asked and under what particular conditions this rate is being computed. So yung hinahanap class is find the rate at which the radius is increasing. So from there, so alam mo na yung hinahanap is yung dr over dt class, yung rate of change ni radius. Ngayon, merong condition class. Yung instant kapag yung radius is nasa 10 cm na. So ano daw yung dr over dt? Okay? And then number 5, write an equation showing the relationship of all the variables by an equation that is valid for any time t. So write an equation. Ngayon, yung relationship ng h saka r is given by the, of course, area ng circle, which is a is equal to pi r square class. Okay? So ito yung working equation natin. 6, differentiate the equation in number 5 implicitly with respect to time. So that is why diniscuss natin yung implicit differentiation. So from here, derive. So a derivative niya is dA over dt. And then this one, 2 pi. So bring down yung 2 pi r. And then, ito yung sinasabi ko class. Kung ano man yung variable niya, yun yung susundan nyo. So dr over dt. Okay? Ngayon, ito yung hinahanap natin, di ba? Yung dr over dt. So yun yung step number 6 class. Differentiate. In 7, substitute into the equation obtained in 6 all the values that are valid at the particular time of interest. Okay? So isub natin. Yung kanina, we have yung dA over dt class, which is 2 pi. And then given din yung r. Saan galing yung r? Ito. Yung dA over dt is this one. So isub dito. So 2 pi ito, then we have r which is 10. Ngayon, kinukuha ito class, yung rate of change ng radius kapag yung radius is 10. So we have 1/10. Ibig sabihin, the radius of a circular ripple is increasing at the rate of 1/10 centimeter square. Paano malaman kung ano yung dA/dt? Dito class, di ba meron kayong clue? Kasi dito class, pero sinabi naman niya, di ba? Area of a ripple. So ibig sabihin, that is yung dA/dt natin class. Paano naging 1/10? So cancel yung 2, cancel yung pi, may maiiwan na 1 doon, and then over 10. Okay? So gets nyo ba yung problem class? So pinapakuha kasi dito yung rate of change. Kung, di ba kapag ripple, lumalaki yung circle. As the area, kumbaga lumalaki yung area ng circle, lumalaki din yung radius. Ngayon tinatanong dito yung rate of change ng pag-increase ng radius. Kapag yung radius natin is 10 centimeter. Ngayon class, take note sa unit. Radius over time tayo, di ba? So radius centimeter yan. And then over time, that is over second. Okay? So another example tayo. So a ladder 10 meters long is leaning against a wall. If the bottom of the ladder is being pushed horizontally towards the wall at 2 meters per second, how fast is the top of the ladder moving when the bottom is 6 meters from the wall? So from yung steps kanina, para mas ma-grasp nyo yung, para mas makuha yung problem, so illustrate natin. So we have a ladder class. Constant yung 10 meters. Constant yung 10 meters. So we have a ladder. So nakalagay siya, kumbaga nakapatong sa isang wall. Ngayon, yung distance ng bottom nung ladder going to the wall, represent natin as x. And then from the ground to the top of the ladder as y. Ngayon, merong nagpo-push dito class. So kapag pinupush yung ladder class, tumataas siya, di ba? Ibig sabihin, umiikli din si x dito. Ngayon, given yung rate of change ng x, which is 2 meters per second class. Ngayon, bakit siya negative? Kasi nga, sabi ko kanina, habang, imagine niyo kapag pinush mo ito class, di ba, tataas si ladder. And ikli ito, di ba, yung length ng x. So therefore, kapag nagdi-decrease yung length, negative siya. Okay? Then, anong hinanap dito? How fast is the top of the ladder moving? So, yung dy/dt class ang hinanap natin. Kasi, tinatanong is, how fast is the top of the ladder? So, kung pinupush ito, tumataas to, di ba? So, gaano kabilis daw yan? Ngayon, yung instant natin is, kapag yung bottom is 6 meters from the wall. So, ibig sabihin yung x is equal to 6. Diba? Instantaneous. So, kapag x equal to 6, ano yung dy/dt? Okay? So, again, illustrate, write the variables, and then yung mga given na rate of change. Kung negative yan, malalaman nyo kung negative kapag nagdi-decrease yung isang variable. Okay? Ngayon, ano yung working equation natin? Kailangan kang makakuha ng working equation. since this is right triangle class, so we can do Pythagorean theorem. Remember Pythagorean theorem class? X squared plus y squared is equal to 10 squared, which is 100. Okay? So ito yung working equation natin. Ngayon, we can now derive it using implicit differentiation. So 2x dx over dt. Ngayon, dito class, since over time na siya, hindi na siya yung kanina na x alone lang, which is hindi natin kinakabit to, di ba? Ngayon, all of our variables are with respect to time. So, kailangan mong ilagay yung dx over dt. Depende kung anong variable. Then, yung y square is 2y dy over dt. Derivative of a constant is 0. Okay? Ngayon class, check natin ano yung mga given na. So yung x given which is 6, hinanap natin yung dy over dt, di ba? Dx over dt is given which is negative 2. Ano na lang yung kulang? Yung y. Yung y makukuha natin kapag ginamit natin yung equation, then isub yung given na x which is 6. So 6 squared plus y squared is equal to 100. So get the value of y, that is equal to 8. Now, so pwede nang makuha yung dy over dt. So just sub all the given values. Pag ginawa yan, so makukuha 3 over 2. So therefore, the distance between the top of the ladder and the ground is increasing at the rate of 1.5 meters per second. So tumatas ito kapag yung instantaneous rate of change niya kapag yung distance x equal to 6, that is 1.5 meters per second. Equivalently, we can also say that the top of the ladder is moving at the rate of 1.5 meters per second. So pareho lang. Okay? So next example. An automobile traveling at the rate of 20 meters per second is approaching an intersection. So meron daw automobile class. So let's say papunta siya sa west. Ito, yung automobile natin. And then ina-approach niya yung intersection. So imagine this is the road. So traveling at the rate of 20 meters per second. Ngayon, negative siya class. So that is dx over dt, di ba? Negative siya kasi nagdi-decrease yung x, di ba? While going to the point of intersection. Or the intersection. So negative 20. Yan. So when the automobile is 100 meters from the intersection, a truck traveling at the rate of 40 meters per second crosses the intersection. So let's say dito galing si truck. So nag-cross siya ng intersection going south. Kapag yung automobile class nung naging 100 meters from the intersection na siya, merong nag-travel daw na truck at the rate of 40 meters per second. Okay? So ibig sabihin yung dy over dt natin is 40. Ngayon, since humaba itong y na to, so positive siya. Ito kasi nagdi-decrease, di ba? So the automobile and the truck are on perpendicular roads. Perpendicular. So ibig sabihin 90 degrees. How fast is the distance between the truck and the automobile changing 2 seconds after the truck leaves the intersection? So kaya nga dito, lumagpas na siya sa intersection, di ba? After 2 seconds. Ngayon, pinapakuha kung how fast daw yung distance from or between the truck and the automobile. Kaya merong Z dito. So yung pinapakuha is yung dZ over dt. So yung rate of change nitong Z yung pinapakuha, class. Ngayon, right triangle ulit ito. So we can use yung Pythagorean x squared plus y squared is equal to, take note, the hypotenuse here is Z. So is equal to Z squared. Then through implicit differentiation, class, so 2x dx over dt plus 2y dy over dt. Then 2z dz over dt. Okay? So ngayon, ano yung mga given, class? We have dx over dt, okay na. dy over dt is 40. Diba? And then pinapakuha is itong dz over dt. Ngayon, ano pa yung mga ibang given? Wala yung x, y, at saka yung z. Diba? So, paano natin siya makuha? Remember yung formula about distance. Distance is equal to rate multiplied by time. Okay? So, meron tayong given na time which is 2 seconds, class. So, after 2 seconds, lumagpas na yung truck. So, yung automobile muna. So, after 2 seconds, yung automobile, nakapag-travel siya ng, so rate times time tayo. So, yung rate niya is 20. So, disregard dito, class, yung negative since yung negative is just for the direction. So, 20 times 2 seconds. So, 40. Ngayon, from the 100 feet mark siya, class. Sorry. So 100 meters dito, di ba? From the intersection. Kasi sabi dito, when the automobile is 100 meters from the intersection. Ngayon, kung 100 meters from the intersection, kailangan natin i-minus yung 40. Kasi ito yung na-travel ng automobile, class, di ba? 40. Ngayon, kung from 100 dito, kailangan natin i-minus yung 40 sa 100. So therefore, yung na-travel niya from here is actually 60. Okay? Take note. And then yung truck naman, sa truck walang problem kasi going to the south siya. So 40 times 2, that is 80. Okay? And then the value of z, class, makukuha sa square root. Diba dito? Yung equation natin. So get the value of z using the values from x and y. So 40 at saka, 60 at saka 80. So that is 100, class. Okay? And then, so kapag sinab yan, class, take note, meron lang ano dito, typo. This is supposedly, yung nakuha natin is 60, di ba? So palitan ng 60 ito. And then yung rate ng dx is negative 20. Rate ng y is 40. And then yung distance, 80. Yung nakuha natin for z is 100. So kapag kinompute mo yan, class, using your calcu or manually, we have dz over dt na 20. So ibig sabihin, class, yung distance between the automobile and the truck is increasing at the rate of 20 meters per second. Ito, class. Okay? So last example, class. So water is pouring into an inverted cone at the rate of 8 cubic meters per minute. If the height of the cone is 12 meters and the radius of its base is 6 meters, how fast is the water level rising when the water is 4 meter deep? Okay, so let's say merong nagbubuhos ng water dito, class. So kapag nagbuhos ka ng water, syempre yung level ng water dito would increase, di ba? Okay. So yung rate nun, pwede natin equate since this one, yung cone, merong volume yan, di ba? So dV over dt is equal to 8. Meron ka naman dito clue kasi cubic meters. So ibig sabihin, we are talking about volume, class. Kapag cubic, volume yon. Kapag square, that is area. And then yung time reference natin dito is minute. Okay? And what are the variables? So we have yung radius ng cone, 6, height ng inverted cone to, class. 12. And then since hindi or nag-change, class, yung radius as the water level rise up. And then yung height is also variable since nagbabago yan. So ano yung mga given, class? So we have yung dV over dt which is 8. Ito, class. And then hinahanap, class, is how fast is the water level rising? Water level. So ibig sabihin yung height. So dh over dt. When height is equal to 4. Kasi at an instant, di ba? Pinapanap yung dh over dt. Ngayon, class, gagamitin natin yung equation for the volume. Equation for the volume of, specifically, class, this is the volume of a cone. So it doesn't matter kung inverted siya. So yung formula for the volume of a cone is given by pi over 3 r square height. Okay? And then, take note, class, kinukuha natin yung dh over dt, di ba? Ngayon, wala naman tayong given kapag dinerive natin ito. Wala tayong makukuha, ay may makukuha tayong dr over dt, di ba? Kaso, walang given na dr over dt. Ngayon, to solve this problem, we can get an equation in terms of age sa r ngayon para maging buong in terms of age itong equation na to. Okay, so paano natin gagawin yon? We will use similar triangle. I think merong the same problem na na-discuss natin before. Similar triangle. So r over age and similar itong triangle na to, class. Similar siya sa buong ito. So therefore, R, yung ratio nila is proportional yung ratio nila. So yung R proportional sa 6, yung age, class, is proportional sa 12. So we will use that ratio and proportion. Ngayon, so simplifying, we will have R is equal to height over 2. Okay? So meron ka ng equation for R. Ngayon, you can now substitute ito dito para maging in terms of age na lang siya. Kasi given lang natin, class, is dh over dt. So kapag sinabi yan, class, magiging age over 2 square dito. So age square yon over 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Then age square times age is age cube. Okay? So yung final equation natin is this one. Pi over 12 h cube. Ngayon, derive. So dv over dt, constant yung pi over 12, derivative ng h cube is Ay, so kapag dinerive ito class, 3h squared, di ba? And 3 over 12 is 4. Kaya merong 4 doon. 3 minus 1 is 2. Kaya h squared. Ngayon, isub na yung mga given. So we have age is equal to 4. Then ito yung hinanap natin, di ba? dv over dt is equal to 8. So solving in dh over dt, we have 2 over pi. So ibig sabihin, yung conclusion natin, yung water level inside the cone is rising at the rate of 2 over pi meters per minute. Okay? So iba yung way dito class. Kailangan kapag naka-encounter kayo ng ganito na walang given, so kailangan maghanap ng way ng equation para ma-sub yon in terms of single variable. But nawala yung 3 dun sa h square. Plus power rule, di ba? So 3, bring down yung 3 minus 1. Then 3 over 12, that is 1 over 4.